So we can't ignore that. But I will say this, two things. Nobody wants to face Seattle if they don't have to. That's number one. And number two, and more importantly, Seattle can beat anybody if their defense shows up the way that they showed up yesterday afternoon. They got called out by yours truly, along with several others who have been watching them, and they responded.
Got the victory over Kansas City, 33-16, week 2 of preseason. Drew Lock, 10-12 as the backup, 129 yards. But Sam Darnold making his first start as a Seahawks starter, 4 for 4, 34 yards. And Zach Charbonnet also punched in a score for the Seahawks, 45 rushing yards for that young man. And with that, we bring in former Louisiana running back Emory Hunt. And Emory, Sam Darnold making his debut as a Seahawks starter in preseason. He looks solid to me, 4 for 4 on that drive that ended in a touchdown. What did you make of his performance?
I loved it because it was a lot of movement left, a lot of movement right, coming off the run game, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. Kind of exactly what you want to see a starter do in a preseason game. Just operate the offense well, move the offense down the field, get points, get back on the sideline, get the baseball cap on, and call it a night. So he was efficient. He looked a lot like what he looked like last year in Minnesota, which is a great sign for Seattle. And thanks in part to a fantastic offensive line, how they were just blowing Kansas City off the ball made his life a hell of a lot easier.
And it also made one of his other teammates' life easier. We're talking about Zach Charbonnet. He's punched in that touchdown against Kansas City in that first drive. And when you think about the injury issues that Kenneth Walker has dealt with over his years, right? What chances do you give Charbonnet to beat him for that number one spot as the running back?
It gives him a good chance. And what I like about Charbonnet in comparison to Kenneth Walker has a little bit more burst, obviously, and is able to rip off the long run. But I feel like Charbonnet has a better feel for the run game. And when I'm talking about how he's able to ride it and then decide at the last minute, or press and then cut back if necessary. So he's able to feel the running game a lot better than Kenneth Walker, although Kenneth Walker has that next level burst to really rip the home run. But you like what you saw tonight, because he was able to do a great job of just understanding where the holes are going to be, attacking, and just shooting through it and making big plays throughout the course of his time out there on the field. So it was a great night overall for the offensive line, for the run game, and all of the quarterbacks, to be honest.
Now, Seattle, they brought the hammer to Kansas City all night long. The intensity, the focus, crisp. What are you seeing from the Seahawks that you think can translate to the regular season?
Man, I'm so glad you asked that, Chris, man, because a lot of times we see different approaches to the preseason by a lot of different coaching staffs and how much they want to, kind of take this thing seriously. I thought Mike McDonald did a fantastic job of getting his team ready to play. They looked like they were ready to play from start to finish. They were just kicking Kansas City up and down the field on both sides of the ball, and everyone was trying to make the play, whether it was an offensive lineman, whether it was a running back, whatever quarterback was in the game. On defense, every level of the defense was trying to just knock the KC ball carrier out or just do a great job of being physical and playing with that level of intensity. And that all just stems from the head coach and what they preach at practice. So it was great to see a preseason game with this level of intensity. It looked like a week 9 game for Seattle. They got ready, got out of bed, and it seemed like Kansas City didn't get off the bus. So I like what they showed tonight. And that's the type of stuff that can carry over into the regular season.
Right, and that's the culture you want to embody as you get into the regular season, where you play hard from the first whistle to the last one, especially in the NFL, where any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because the Seattle Seahawks just sent a thunderous message to the NFL in Week 2 of the 2025 preseason. On a rain-soaked night at Lumen Field, they didn't just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, they obliterated them, 33-16, in a performance that felt like a playoff showdown, not a meaningless exhibition game. This wasn't just a win. It was a statement. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to face this Seahawks team if they bring this kind of fire. The offense was a well-oiled machine. The defense was a brick wall. And the intensity, it was off the charts. Let's dive into the chaos and brilliance of this game, because trust me, you can't ignore what Seattle just unleashed. But what made this victory so electric? Let's zero in on the man under center who's rewriting his legacy, Sam Darnold. Let's talk about Sam Darnold, the quarterback who's been doubted, written off, and labeled a bust. Well, guess what? He's rewriting that narrative in Seattle, and his preseason debut was nothing short of spectacular, going 4 for 4 for 34 yards on the opening drive. Darnold led a clinical 81-yard, 10-play march that ended with a Zach Charbonnet touchdown. This wasn't just efficiency, this was command. Rolling left, rolling right, hitting tight ends A.J. Barner and Elijah Arroyo with pinpoint accuracy, and finding Jackson Smith and Jigba for chunk plays. Darnold looked like the $100 $5 million man Seattle bet on. But here's the kicker. With a shaky offensive line history and a new system under Clint Kubiak, was this a fluke? Or is Darnold finally the answer at QB1? Some say he's on a one-year audition with rookie Jalen Milroe breathing down his neck. Others, they're already crowning him the savior of Seattle's offense. One thing's clear. This debut has the NFL buzzing, and the pressure's on. Darnold set the tone, but the ground game stole the show. Let's break down how Zach Charbonnet and the offensive line turned heads. If you thought Seattle's run game was going to take a backseat without Kenneth Walker III, think again. Zach Charbonnet didn't just fill in, he shined, rushing for 45 yards and a touchdown that had Lumen Field erupting. Watch this play. 13 personnel, 1 running back, 3 tight ends, and a perfectly executed misdirection. Pre-snap motion pulls the Chiefs linebackers downhill. Elijah Arroyo leaks out to draw coverage, and rookie guard Gray Zabel manhandles his man, opening a gaping hole for Charbonnet to explode for a 15-yard touchdown. The Seahawks racked up a jaw-dropping 268 rushing yards on 48 carries. Yes, you heard that right. 268. This wasn't just a good night. It was a revelation. With Walker's injury history, is Charbonnet poised to steal the RB1 spot? His vision, patience, and decisive cuts say yes, but Walker's explosive burst says, not so fast. The battle for the backfield just got spicy, and this offensive line, once a weak link, is now a battering ram. The run game was unstoppable, but don't sleep on the backup who kept the momentum rolling, Drew Lock. When Sam Darnold took a seat, Drew Lock stepped in and delivered, going 1-0 for 1-2 for 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns to Jake Bobo. Lock proved he's more than just a backup. Check this play. A perfectly timed screen to Bobo, with the offensive line setting up a convoy Zabel, and company clearing the way for a 12-yard score. Lock's 151.0 passer rating was near perfection, and his 30-yard scramble showed he's got wheels too. But here's the controversy. With Darnold's contract on a short leash and Jalen Milroe waiting in the wings, is Lock making a case to steal snaps? Some fans are screaming for Lock to get more reps, while others say he's just a spark plug off the bench. One thing's certain. Seattle's QB room is a pressure cooker, and Lock's performance turned up the heat. The offense was firing on all cylinders. But let's not forget the defense that made Kansas City look lost. Seattle's defense didn't just show up, they showed out. Holding the Chiefs to 151 total yards and just 3 points in the second half, this unit was a swarm of chaos. Safety Julian Love set the tone, stonewalling Chiefs RB Carson Steele on a critical 4th down stop. Defensive tackle Brandon Pilley made jaws drop, tackling Elijah Mitchell in the end zone for a safety. This wasn't a defense playing soft, it was a unit playing with fire, chasing perfection, as Love himself said. With stars like Devin Witherspoon and Leonard Williams anchoring the line, and new additions like DeMarcus Lawrence bringing edge, is this the best defense in the NFC West? Some say yes, but others point to the 49ers and Rams as tougher tests. One thing's undeniable. If Seattle's defense plays like this, they can beat anybody. The defense was relentless. But what does this all mean for the regular season? Let's hear from an expert. To break this down, we're bringing in former Louisiana running back and football analyst Emory Hunt. Emory, Sam Darnold looked like a maestro in his debut, and Zach Charbonnet was a bulldozer. What's your take on Seattle's performance? Emory Hunt, pre-recorded or scripted response. I loved it. Darnold was smooth, efficient, and moved the offense like a veteran. His quick release and ability to roll out reminded me of his Minnesota days. Charbonnet. His vision and decisiveness were elite. 45 yards, and a touchdown don't lie. The offensive line was the real MVP, blowing Kansas City off the ball. This team's physicality and preparation under Mike McDonald screamed, regular season ready. They played like it was week 9, not a preseason game. That's the culture that wins in the NFL. Hunt's hitting the nail on the head. Seattle's intensity was unmatched. But can they sustain this fire against tougher opponents? Seattle's culture is electric. But let's zoom in on a play that defined their dominance. Let's slow it down and dissect the play that had everyone talking. Seattle's in 13 personnel. 1 running back, 3 tight ends. Pre-snap motion with Elijah Arroyo pulls the Chiefs' linebackers downhill, and a crackback block by rookie Gray Zabel seals the edge. Zach Charbonnet takes the handoff, reads the hole, and boom, 15 yards to the house. This wasn't just a play. It was a masterclass in execution. The misdirection fooled Kansas City's defense, and Zabel's block was a thing of beauty. Is this Clint Kubiak's new look offense at its finest? Some say it's a sign of things to come, while others warn it's just preseason hype. Either way, this play had Lumen Field shaking, and it's got us hyped for what's next. That play was a glimpse of Seattle's potential, but what does it all mean for the regular season? Let's wrap this up. Seattle's 33-16 demolition of Kansas City wasn't just a preseason win, it was a warning shot to the NFL. With Sam Darnold's perfect debut, Zach Charbonnet's breakout performance, Drew Lock's near-flawless relief, and a defense that suffocated the Chiefs, the Seahawks looked like a team ready to dominate. But here's the million-dollar question. Can they carry this intensity into the regular season? The NFC West is a gauntlet, with the 49ers and Rams lurking. Some say Seattle's new look offense and stout defense make them division favorites. Others, they're skeptical, pointing to Darnold's unproven track record and a tough schedule ahead. One thing's for sure. This Seahawks team is hungry, physical, and ready to fight. Drop a comment below who impressed you most. Sam Darnold, Zach Charbonnet, or someone else. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep breaking down this Seahawks surge.